Okay, we will now see how to configure a Linksys wireless router and make it to serve as a DHCP server, giving out IP addresses to machines both in the wireless network as well as in a wired network. And we'll also see how to communicate from this network involving the Linksys router to another network, which is a wired network connected through a router. Okay, so let me go over this. So let's go to wireless devices, select Linksys, insert it over here. So Linksys by default comes up with an administrative IP address that can be used to connect to its web server and configure the router. So this is the built-in IP address it comes with, and it also is configured to serve as a DHCP server, and it will by default lease out 50 IP addresses in this range from 192.168.0 to 100 to 149. So it's configured with 0.1 and it will give out IP addresses 0.100 to 0.149, so 50 IP addresses. And the SSID, as you may know, the name of the wireless network. So when you want to connect to a wireless network, you have to look for the name of the wireless network to which you want to connect to. So that's called the SSID, and the name of the SSID is default. So that's the default name it comes up with. And the account that you need to log in as an administrator to change the configuration settings is the username is admin, and the admin password is also admin. Okay, so these are the things that comes with any Linksys router will come up with such settings. So what we want to do is we want to use a PC, say even in your home. If you get a Linksys router and you have a laptop, you want to configure the Linksys router through a laptop. So we'll use a laptop to configure changes in the Linksys router. So before that, what are the things we want to change it to? We want to set the default, not the default, the administrative IP address is also the gateway IP address to 2.1, and accordingly the DHCP range we want to give is going to be 2.100 to 149, and we want to set the SSID to something corresponding to your name. So in my case I'll set it as something like this, and the administrative password I want to set something like, say, this, that goes with your last name. And also by default when a laptop connects to a Linksys router, the security settings are not enabled. So we want to enable the security settings. So we want to use the WPA2 personal standard, and we want to set the key for this encryption to be something associated with, say, my first name. Okay. I believe it has to have at least 8 characters, right? Alright, so we want to change from this to this. Okay, so let's do that. So we'll pick up end devices. Actually, we'll pick up custom made devices, select this, and click on generic. Okay, so we'll pick up custom made devices, this one, and then select generic. So as you notice, once I inserted here, this laptop obtained a connection to this Linksys router. This is a wireless connection. So if you double click on it and go to command prompt and type ipconfig, you will notice the 0.100 IP address. As I said, that's the first IP address that you could get from that DHCP pool. Okay, So now you can access the web, the administrative account by going through the um, default IP address 0.1. So it asks for the username, which is admin, and password is also admin, and this is what you get, the administrative screen. Alright, so now what we want to do is we want to leave the internet setup as DHCP as it is, but we want to change the network setup, the network that is involved in this Linksys router. Okay, all the machines that want a DHCP address from this Linksys router, we want to change that. Them, instead of 0.1, they have to access now 192.168.2.1. okay, and basically we want to change this from 2.100 to 2.149, right? So this is what we want to change this to. So just change this from 0 to 2 here, and just go down and click on save settings. You will notice that you lose your wireless connection because its address has been changed to 2.1, but this guy has what, 0.1 prefix, right? It has a 0.100 prefix, right? But it automatically obtains. So that's the power of DHCP, isn't it? So let me make sure you can log in. Right, so as I showed you, using DHCP, it got back the now the 2.100 address, right? So let me now try to connect using the 2.1 address, and now you could see all these things change. So now the range of IP addresses is from 192.168.2.100 to 149, and you can, by default, you can give up to 50 IP addresses. You can change it if you want. Okay, so we'll let the DHCP server role enabled. Okay, and so now what we want is we want to change the SSID, right? So for that, what I'll do is I'll go to this wireless, and I will change this name to, but before that let me show you this. I can also access the Linksys router through this interface that comes up with your PC. So click on this. Right now it's connected, right? So let me see if you can disconnect and connect again. If you click on connect, that profile shows up, right? Let me try to disconnect it. Let's say it's static. Let me see if I try to connect now, I can connect or not. So this profile comes up, right? So let me try to okay, so it has now got a new IP address. Let me verify it here. Yes, right. Okay, so what I could do now is we'll come back to this. Let's go to the browser again. Alright, so click on wireless. I want to change this name to the SSID name I want, which is after my last name and first name, something like this. So for each of you, I will ask you to do depending on your name, okay? And you can click save settings, okay? And now you see that connection got disconnected because your SSID got changed. So for that, now you could go to this, and you could see now the name appears to be Magnet. So you want to connect to this, right? So we want to, but our profile is still configured as default for this particular PC. So what we want to do is we want to click on this and click edit, right, and then click advanced setup. Now I want to change the name of the wireless network to MagNet. Then we still want to use DHCP to lease out the IP addresses, so we'll top in the IP addresses. So we will not enable security setup right now, and we'll click save. So now let's go back to the connect to network thing, and let's see if we can connect. Now it is connected, right? So now you can go back and check your IP address. You got back the 2.100. Alright, so now we want to next set the security settings. So let's go back. So still we have not changed the admin password. So for that, let me go to administration, and this is admin right now, so I'm going to change it to MEG67, and let's see if I save the settings. You can log in again with the new password, and now we want to change the wireless security settings. So click on wireless, then go to wireless security. You can see wireless security mode is disabled, so let me enable it by choosing WPA2 personal. This is the wireless security standard we're going to use, and we could choose either AES as the encryption algorithm or TKIP. Let's stay with AES, and the password you should use what I have assigned to you. I think it should be 8 characters by default. So now we can save the settings, and you should again get disconnected from the gateway. So let's try to connect it now through this interface. So let's wait for the signal to come. You got the signal, so you will change the profile settings. Remember, we haven't set the security settings yet in the user profile in this laptop. So let's click on this and click on edit, advanced setup. This is as it is, MagNet. We want to still use DHCP to obtain the IP address. So now I want to set this to WPA2 personal, and now let's enter the password I want to use and save it. Now go to connected network, click on connect, wait for the signal to come. The signal is already here. Click on connect. It asks you for the password or the key, and it should be connected, right? So we can check, and you can see you got the IP address. Okay, now you can also check, you can try to insert one more PC. It will soon get this wireless connection. Okay, well, it won't get it because we have by default, if no security settings were set up, it could have connected, but we have set up security settings, right? So what you have to use, we have to go through explicitly, go to the connect, wait for signal to come, MagNet shows up, so go click on that and click on connect. It'll ask you for the password, NA2123455, the key that we just set up. So now the adapter is active, which means you should see a wireless signal. You can get the IP address to be 101, and we can ping to the other guy. Okay, so you'll get the response. Right, so now we want to extend this to be able to give IP addresses out to a wired network. So we'll see that in the next tutorial. Actually, let me stop here.